What's up, Urban Acolyte family? My name is Prince, and I'm an Urban Acolyte. And in this video, we're going to have a little discussion on this article that my man Michael Stevens sent me over on the Urban Acolyte Facebook page. And Michael says, "Hey, Prince, there's an article on East Coast Movies about an interview with Daisy Ridley where she states her parents are actually revealed and states that it is obvious in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Could you look into this?" All right, so I went over to eastcoastmovies.com. I'd actually never heard of that website. It could be a reputable website. I read through the article and I looked at the source for their information. And I ended up at, there was timeout.com and heroichollywood.com. Since this says that she actually spoke with Timeout, we're going to jump to timeout.com and we're going to see what they had to say, because I want the original source, the information from the original source. So let's hop over to timeout.com. All right, so who are Rey's parents? The answer is in The Force Awakens, reckons Star Wars, Daisy Ridley. All right, so did we miss something in The Force Awakens? This morning, Time Out caught up with Star Wars actress and proud Londoner Daisy Ridley to discuss her work as narrator on superb upcoming documentary, The Eagle Huntress. But we couldn't help slipping in a Star Wars question at the end. Ridley has already revealed that in the as yet untitled episode 8 due in 2017, we'll learn a lot more about her character Rey's mysterious backstory. We asked if it'd feel good to get the secret off her chest, and her answer startled us. "I thought a lot was answered in The Force Awakens," she said. "Then after screening, I went for a drink with my agent and everyone, and we were chatting away, and I realized that, in their minds, it's not answered at all. Is she messing with us? Did every audience around the world manage to miss some vital clue, or are we just reading too much into this still fairly cryptic answer? Ridley seems happy to keep things ambiguous. I think curiosity is a wonderful thing," she told us, "and I do find it quite funny that people keep asking about it. Just yesterday, a guy asked to take a picture with me and went, 'Is Luke your dad?' And I was like, 'Chill out, you'll see.' So does she think people are going to be surprised when they find out the truth? I'd love to see the look on people's faces," she says, "but with answers come more questions, and there's definitely going to be enough to keep people going around for another 2 years. One thing that is in no way ambiguous is Ridley's enthusiasm for the upcoming episode 8. It's going to be great," she told us, in no uncertain terms. Fingers, tentacles, and lightsabers crossed that she's right. So she says that we're going to find the answer out in 2 years. So does she mean like 2 years? Because 2 years from now is 2018. If my math is right, this is 2016. Next year would be 2017 when episode 8 comes out. And then 2018, we get the Han Solo movie. But what if episode 9 also comes out in 2018? I don't know about that. I think it would be cool if they were to do something like the Matrix trilogy did, where you shot 2 and 3 back to back, but it doesn't look like that's the case because they've wrapped up with episode 8, and they probably won't come back to shoot episode 9 until episode 8 is already been shown in theaters, just like they did with episode 7, where there were the script rewrites by Rian Johnson because he wanted to tweak things, change things, deal with questions that lingered after the initial impressions of The Force Awakens. And then you also have to think about what could be changed in this movie when they go into reshoots, because with The Force Awakens, if the information that I have about the original cut of The Force Awakens is true, then there was a lot that was changed in the reshoots. And J.J. Abrams' director commentary on The Force Awakens kind of confirms that, because he talks about a number of things that got changed during the reshoots. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I kind of touched on that in that video I did about Maz Kanata stealing the Skywalker lightsaber. I totally plan to do a follow-up video to that, and I'm going to talk about how Finn's character was changed a lot as a result of the reshoots he was to have a lot more involvement with that lightsaber than what we saw in the final cut of The Force Awakens. So stay tuned. I'll probably get around to that video, hopefully sometime tomorrow. I actually shot it once already and I forgot to turn my mic on, and it was a 40-minute long video. I don't know if I'm going to do it the same way. I might if that's what you guys want. So let me know down below. A lot of you seem to be big fans of these longer chat style videos where I just go and say what I got to say on a topic. And to be honest, I actually like this better. I don't like the little 5-minute, 8-minute theory videos where you're trying to hurry up and get a lot of stuff out. That is great for one particular audience. The audience I'm going after wants to sit down and have a conversation, more of a podcast style type video. And if you say I hate these longer videos, well, you know, you're welcome to what you want to do. It's my channel. And to be honest, YouTube actually favors me doing these longer videos. And if you don't run a YouTube channel, then I kind of don't really want to hear your thoughts, because that's the conversations I've had with YouTube people is, Prince, just turn on the camera and start talking, right? But anyway, we're talking about Daisy Ridley, Rey's parents, and if it was all at all obvious who her parents were. So Reddit went crazy. They said that Pablo Hidalgo confirmed this is true, and he did. Pablo Hidalgo said, yes, Rey's parents were in The Force Awakens. During Rey's vision, I did a video on this. J.J. Abrams said in the vision, Rey is seeing herself being taken away from her parents, right? And I think people watch that video and maybe, you know, English isn't your first language, or I don't know, maybe I have some cryptic way of speaking where people don't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. But in that vision, and in the director commentary, JJ says that Rey is seeing herself being taken away from her parents. And I asked, was she kidnapped? Was she abducted? That ship that is leaving, that's her parents. Unkar Plutt is taking her away from her parents. Literally. That's what she sees in the vision. Now, did that actually happen? Or is that something that Rey is seeing like in her mind, like it's symbolic? Right now, we don't know. We don't know if the things in that Force back vision literally happened, right? Because Rey was not literally there during Luke Skywalker's duel with his father, Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker. That is, unless you believe that Rey is the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. And the fact that Anakin goes on to become a Force ghost really negates the possibility of that happening. I talked about that in the Rey Incarnated video that I did back in the spring. So if you're new to the channel, go check that video out, and hopefully it'll correct your thought that Rey is some kind of avatar. Let's leave Avatar Korra and Avatar Aang in the Avatar verse. And I know Kathleen Kennedy's husband had some involvement with that project, but that's Avatar. This is Star Wars, right? Let's keep our intellectual properties separate, right? So Pablo Hidalgo confirms, yes, Rey's parents are in The Force Awakens. Rey says it's obvious that my parents were in, or Rey. Daisy Ridley says it's obvious that Rey's parents were in The Force Awakens. Who they are, how she ended up on Jakku, that is the mystery. How did she end up there? Who is the father? Who is that character in the novelization of her vision who says, don't worry, honey, I'm coming back for you? Was that Luke Skywalker? If you think it is, then you've got to deal with what was Luke Skywalker doing on Jakku? Why did he go there in the first place? How did his daughter get separated from him? Who is Rey's mother? And just like, how did Luke just go on looking for Jedi relics and teaching his new batch of students when his daughter has been abducted, decades prior? You got to deal with all of that. And then you got to deal with the fact that Daisy Ridley said, yes, I know who Rey's parents are. They're no one special. What does she mean by no one special? Is it no one special as in no one Force special? or they're just, it's not anyone that's a far out there character, or not someone from Legends, meaning her mother is not Mara Jade Skywalker. Then we've got to deal with the fact that in George Lucas's story, in his version of the events that would happen after Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Luke doesn't marry. There's no Mara Jade Skywalker. There were not going to be any solo twins, right? And you can say, well, George Lucas sold the IP to Disney, so he has no involvement in whatever George Lucas's wishes were irrelevant. I've seen that from some immature people that post, because if you take that off the table, then you're ignoring the fact that the Lucasfilm story group who worked under George Lucas, like, I didn't just read that or make it up from somewhere. Pablo Hidalgo shared that on Twitter, which means he knows that, which means the Lucasfilm story group, when they're sitting down in their brain trust meetings, Kathleen Kennedy, Pablo, Hidalgo, the Martin dude, Rain Roberts, and these other people that are on the story group, and they're sitting down with the writers and directors and producers and Dave Filoni, and they're all there talking about this is what's going to happen in this saga. This is the framework, and we're going to fill in the details from there. They're creating a sandbox, right? They're creating a playground. And I said this in my very first video after I saw The Force Awakens. I said what J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan done is created a sandbox. They've created a playground, right? These are the rules. And this story that we're creating is going to progress from here. But everything that happens has to be according to this sandbox, this playground that we have. So if this sandbox has no freaking green sand shovels to shovel sand or dirt with, and no Darth Plagueis brand sand pails, then there won't be any green shovels and Darth Plagueis sand pails in that sandbox that don't exist. That's not part of the rules. Now, if you want that to exist, hey, you're more than welcome to want whatever you want. But if that's not what's going to happen, it's not what's going to happen. It's not part of what they're creating. So when I get asked these questions, well, how would you feel if Rey turns out to be Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter or a descendant? Or Prince, you're stupid. How can you not think that Rey is Luke Skywalker's daughter? Well, first off, why are you trying to interpret how I think? Like, you don't know how I think, and I don't know how you think. We don't know each other on that level. But if whatever Rey turns out to be, I'll just accept that those are the rules put in place for this sandbox. Those are rules at this time we don't know. So I accept the possibility that Rey could be a Kenobi. She can be a Skywalker. It's not likely that she is Han's daughter or Leia's daughter, or the daughter of Han but not Leia, or Leia but not Han. That it seems highly unlikely based on what the evidence that is presented so far. And if you've not read anything, then it's like you're presenting something, or you believe in something based on limited evidence. You haven't examined all of the evidence, right? As far as her being a Skywalker, for me, what I see, it's becoming more and more unlikely that she is Luke Skywalker's daughter, right? I've made a stronger case that she could be Sienna Rhee and Thane Kyrell's daughter than Luke's daughter, right? She could be the child of an Imperial, right? The fact that she has a core world accent could show that she speaks with a Coruscanti accent, the same way Jyn Erso was. If you haven't read Catalyst yet, but Jyn Erso grew up on Coruscant, and then her family moved. They went into hiding, basically. And that's what we're seeing in the clips. That's what you'll see in the flashback for Rogue One. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but you're going to see when Krennic finally figures out where they are and comes and gets them. And then it's like, well, Jyn has had long enough to have this Coruscanti accent take root, and it's going to stay with her for the rest of her life that she speaks like an Imperial, even though she's grew up in the Outer Rim, possibly with Saw Gerrera. Same thing with Rey. Her parents probably come from a core world, or the people she was with on Jakku came from core worlds and they maintain that Coruscanti accent. So, you know, look at how Rey talks and look at Luke and Leia. Leia technically should have a core world accent, but I guess since Bail Organa doesn't, that's their way of working it in that, well, Bail Organa doesn't speak with a Coruscanti core world accent, so that's why Leia doesn't. Luke definitely doesn't, but then Rey does. I mean, just look at the speech. So ask yourself this, why does Luke not have a Coruscanti accent, but Rey does? Now, are you going to say that, well, her mother, Mara Jade Skywalker, obviously was an Emperor's hand, even though there's no Emperor's hand in canon yet? Was she an Inquisitor? Well, the only one Inquisitor so far has had a core world accent because he grew up likely in the Jedi Temple. So those are things to think about. I guess I got on a tangent. But you know, I felt like I needed to put this out, and this is Star Wars chat. So, tangents are allowed here. This is the Star Wars tangent zone. But anyway, my next video, I'm going to talk about, Kevin Smith's reaction to, Star Wars Rogue One. And there might be a little bit of a spoiler in that. I will let you guys know when I get to that point. So I'm very excited to talk about that and to start ramping up, these, videos on Rogue One that I'm going to be doing leading up to Thursday and my non-spoiler review coming Thursday night. So make sure you guys check back for that. But if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an Urban Acolyte. Go ahead, join the Urban Acolyte Familia, the Urban Acolyte Army, whatever you guys decide on what we're going to call this movement that we've got going. So, yeah, let me know what's a good name for this Urban Acolyte movement. But anyway, make sure to check back for my, coming Rogue One content, and make sure you, click on these videos to support the channel. But that's all I've got for now. So thank you all for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the Force be with you always.